What it do, what it do? You are now tuned into the No Longer Slept On podcast, and today I have a very special guest, man, by the name of Feeki. Very dope artist out of Northern Nevada, man. Let him know what's going on today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, man. How's your day going so far?
Not too bad, just handled some stuff in the morning, now come over here to do this, so.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you for coming in,
yeah,
man.
Thanks for having me.
Let's go ahead and get started, man. The name Feeki, man. How'd that come about, and where'd you get it from?
It's not any cool story or anything. It just stems off my last name. My nickname growing up was Feeks, and then I started doing music, and then that's where Feeki comes from. It's not really anything crazy or meaningful or anything like that.
Okay, dope, man, dope. It's always good, man. At least it's part of your actual real name. A lot of these artists get these crazy names that I hear, and I'm like, where the hell did they come up with that? Music, man. I see that you're a big artist out here in Northern Nevada, and it seems like you're always working, man. I'm constantly checking your YouTube channel out, man. I've noticed you got over 160 videos on there, man. How did music become a part of your life, and what got you into it?
I used to play in a punk band when I was young, like 13, 15 area, and then but we did shows and stuff, but nothing too serious, just kids playing, and then I started racing motocross after that, and I quit doing music altogether. And then after high school, pretty much all my friends moved away, and I was just bored. And I think I kind of had the spark to do something like unconventional in life. I just didn't know what it was going to be. And then I was just on YouTube one night, and I saw a Mac Miller video. And I was like,
Miller,
okay.
Dope artist, man. I like him a lot too. I've seen his rise.
Yeah, so that was when I think this video, it had like 2 million views on it, but he was blowing up or in the process of it.
Do you remember what video or song it was?
It was one of the early like Nikes on my feet or something
classic,
in that era.
Classic, definitely.
But so I saw that and I was like, all right, I think I could do that. This guy looks like he's having a lot more fun than me sitting here watching him. So and then that was something that I could also, I thought at the time, do by myself instead of like the band situation.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got started, and then it's one of those things. You put yourself rapping on the internet, you can't quit. So.
Exactly, that's true. Especially when you get a little bit of love, man. Yeah. Also, coming from a punk band, man, that's pretty different from the whole hip hop world. Like, what had you feel like you can rap? A lot of people would be intimidated.
Well, I couldn't.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. So obviously when I was in a punk band, like I said, I was a kid, and that's what I was listening to back then. And then by the time I started rapping, it was, that's what I was listening to, was hip hop. So it wasn't like I was still a punk kid and then I was like, oh, I'm just going to rap. Which, who cares if that was the case.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
So that's what I was listening to. And like I said, it was something I was like, oh, I could do that by myself. I'll just get a beat or whatever and you rap over it, and that's it. So
was it kind of similar to the punk world of as lyrics driven, like when you're rapping, it's like you got to kind of rhyme, and I noticed, from the punk stuff that I listen to, they don't always rhyme all the time.
Yeah.
Like what made you think, hey, I want to rhyme, or was it just easier for you to come natural?
No, I wouldn't say it came natural, because I really, really sucked when I first started. So it was definitely like a learned process, and it's not similar to punk at all. And after maybe a couple of years into doing hip hop, I started listening to like a lot of Logic.
Okay.
And he was really good with the rhyme schemes and stuff. And
exactly.
He always says that a lot of his influences were like Nas and Big L and those guys, and you can definitely hear that in the way that he rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
So back then, in hindsight, I was trying to be too much just like Logic. I have to rap like him, but at the same time, it really taught me how to rap and the different rhyme schemes and stuff that he was using. So that's how I learned how to do it.
That's dope, man. That's dope. It seems like you did your homework on it. Did you ever go back and maybe listen to some of the other guys that he was a fan of? Maybe like a Nas or the Big L's. Did you check them out on YouTube?
Definitely. Yeah. And that's I don't know everything about hip hop. I really don't know shit. Like even people. Garrett and Alan, my team that we make music with, they're constantly listening to new stuff, and I'm not. I hardly listen to any music anymore. But back then, I would always listen to music at the gym back then, and I would use Pandora, so I would put on Big L radio and then listen to all the old school stuff. or I would put on Mac Miller radio, and then you'd get more of the new style stuff.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
you were doing your homework then and just not really knowing it, but
Exactly.
just really just soaking it up.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Let's talk about some of your music videos, man, because they're not average videos, man. They're more like movies from what I've seen, man. And to tell you the truth, I learned about you from World Star, but like after I seen your freestyle, I like kind of delved in, you know. I went in, I seen a bunch of your videos, man. So let's talk about that. What are you the guy behind them? Are you the one writing the treatments and doing all that?
Yeah. So the music videos we like to keep pretty light and comedic and stuff like that. And so JP Films shoots all my videos, and he's been with me since day one. I mean, he just got his first camera when I first started doing music.
Shout out JP Films, man.
And it was one of those deals where I like recorded my first rap on my MacBook, like no mic, nothing, and I sent it to a select few people that I knew wouldn't fucking rip me apart if it was bad.
Exactly. And
he was like stoked on it. So he was like, "Oh, this is sick," and I had kind of just met him back then.
Mm-hmm.
And then I knew he was into filming or whatever. He had like a JVC like 37 times zoom camera back then, and then he just got his first like Canon 60D or something. So yeah, we've been from the beginning together, and now we live together, so it makes it easy. So a lot of those videos, like the World Star ones, we do in 1 minute. They're just off a phone or something like that. So. Like tonight, I'll probably want to do a little live video like that, and he'll get home from work and I'll be like, "Hey, can you film real quick?" Yeah. Or even if we're doing a real music video, I can just walk down the hall and say, "Hey, this is my idea. What do you think?" or whatever. But yeah, I pretty much I'll like print out the lyrics to a song, and then I'll visualize what I want the video to look like in my head, and then write down next to each bar like what I want the frame to look like.
Okay.
And then give that to him, and that's kind of the script. And then when we're filming, we can film a whole music video in under 2 hours always, because it's like boom, 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 boom. Here's all the B-roll shots, shoot those, and then we're done and we're out of there. Which is nice because, we've been part of other music videos as like B-roll characters or whatever you call it, where it just takes all day to film. And when you ask people to come out and be in your video and you're not paying them or whatever, it's like it's nice for them to just show up, and then you bust out the video. We're very organized, and we'll just rip through the whole thing, and then that's it.
Yeah, I can tell, man. Watching your videos, it seems like you guys put a lot of thought into it before actually filming. I'm an artist as well, so I know what it's like doing music videos. And in my music videos, I rarely have anybody in them because it's kind of hard to like direct people if you don't have a whole team behind you. So I love what you guys are doing with the music videos, man. That's dope. Well, what would you say is one of your most favorite videos that you've done so far?
There's been a lot of different ones, so I think Wanna Work is probably our best video.
Oh yeah,
best
that one's
quality,
dope, man.
I would say.
If you haven't seen that, go check it out, man. Feeki, Wanna Work, man. That's dope.
Yeah, that one just came together good. I mean, we shot that whole thing. We did it in 2 different scenes, so like real early in the morning for the on the way to the office scenes, but we filmed all of that in a half hour. And then the actual at the office scene, we probably shot that in an hour and a half or so. And that one worked out nice. I know this guy Jim. I was like, I had the idea for the video, and it's funny because Logic just dropped a new video for every day, and it's like the same exact video.
Oh man!
But 2 years later, and they actually did it right because they had a huge budget and stuff. So it was kind of, I was like, oh, I did have a good idea.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's seen yours, man. Maybe got a few ideas from you guys.
That'd be cool, but So I got the idea for the video, and I was like, oh, we need an office. Like, where are we gonna get an office? So it's just networking. I was like, oh, this guy Jim I know owns a company, and I know they have office space. So I just texted him, hey, do you have an office, or do you know anyone? And he's like, oh yeah, we actually just moved to offices. Our old one's empty. Like, come buy the new one. I'll give you the key.
Oh, that's
all right,
dope.
sick. So that just worked out good, and then I just invited on Facebook for people to come out, and like 15 people showed up for the office, my co-workers in the video. So that one just came together really good. But then there's other ones, like the High Road video was really fun.
Yeah, the High Road, I just was watching that one too. That one's hilarious,
and
man.
I mentioned earlier the JVC 37. We actually used that camera.
I could tell.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you guys did that in a post production, made it look a little older, but that shit came out.
Let's just do it. Yeah, I remember I had to buy a charger for the camera on Amazon because
they didn't have one.
We couldn't have it, or he didn't have one, and we couldn't find one. But
shout out to Amazon, man. They're a lifesaver, man. Straight up.
So that one was fun. That was like, it was super hard to film because we would get like half of a bar and I would start laughing. Alan was there and he'd be like, put your hand inside the saxophone like while we're filming. And then that's how I would do it and we'd just all dying laughing. So
I noticed in that video you were like your emotion, like you're kind of like not looking at the camera and like it's hilarious, man. Like,
it was hard because I was trying to be like awkward and offbeat.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was noticing. Yeah, that was dope, man.
Yeah, that was probably the most fun we've had filming for sure.
So would you say that one probably your favorite or the one award?
Yeah, I don't know because they're kind of opposites. Like High Road is just terrible. Like the quality is horrible. We filmed it in my garage on a green screen. Like you can see in certain shots where he like peeked the camera up and you can see the garage in the background from where the green screen shuts off. But then Wanna Work it looks really good and like it turned out good and it's a good idea.
And it's a different vibe, I think, for each song and each video, man. That's dope, dude. Well, you guys are doing your thing with the videos, man. Keep them up, keep them going.
Yeah,
I'm subscribed to the channel now, man, and I get excited every time I see you putting out something new, whether it's just a in studio video or actual full video, because I know that you're gonna give it your all, man, and you guys put a lot of production behind what you're doing, So recording wise, what's some things that Feeki likes to do before maybe creating a song or writing a dope verse? Like is there something that you really need in the studio for you? I mean, I know some guys like to get high or maybe drink a little bit or just have the beat playing super loud. What's something that Feeki likes to do?
Yeah, I mean, I don't smoke and I don't really drink. I drink about once every 2 years, so that's nothing against anything, but just not really my style at this point. But I don't know, the writing process. I always write at home. I don't write in the studio. I write in my studio, but I don't even record there. It's just in my room. So I always write at home, and then I go to Garrett's house to record, and then his setup, it's literally in an attic. Like you pull down the ladder and you crawl up to get up there. So we record there, but I like to make sure that I'm pretty polished before I go. Obviously I don't do everything in one take, but I don't like to not be prepared, I guess, when we go. So Alan will always come over. Alan's my producer, makes all my beats for me. Since like 2015, he's made everything, and then Garrett's the engineer, and they're both pop guys. So, Way Up was Alan's first ever hip hop beat that he made, and then now he's progressed the same as I have, and Garrett's a vocal engineer, and like I said, they're both pop writers, so I'll write the hook like how I hear it, but they can always come up with a better melody than me. Yeah. So they'll say, okay, like this part's really good, let's change this part of the melody to this, and then they can come up with harmonies and stuff, so like sing the harmony like this, and kind of modernize. And we kind of had a discussion when we first started working together before Way Up, like where I wanted to go with the sound. And I remember I told him, I was like, I feel like I can rap better on the old school like boom bap beats, but that's not the level of success that I want. Isn't really obtainable with that sound. It is for some people like J. Cole or Kendrick but
they still struggle with that.
Exactly.
They still have to have that radio.
And they're like, the top 0.01% of guys too, and they're the best in the world as far as lyricists go. I'm like, I kind of want to do more pop stuff, pop sounding stuff. Like, and my example back then was like Wiz Khalifa and Kendrick too. I was like, Kendrick's a great rapper, but he was also in that same era. He did a track with Taylor Swift, and Kendrick did, or Wiz had like See You Again. I think shortly after that. I was like, that's where I want to go, where these guys can still be good rappers, but they have the crossover with the pop world.
Exactly.
So that was kind of the conversation that tailored the sound to staying modern and staying or like incorporating pop elements instead of just rap hooks, rap verses. Sometimes I'll do a rap hook just to switch it up, but most of the time we're doing singing verses, and then they're coming up with the harmonies for me, so it's not just a single vocal, it sounds like a pop hook. Yeah,
that's real, man. That's dope. Let's get into the look a little bit, man. The Feeki look, man. You're definitely got your own style of dressing, you know what I'm saying? That's dope. I noticed if you go further back on your actual YouTube channel, you didn't have that look. You know, let's talk about how you got into the glasses, the mullet, the American, you know, style, I guess you would say. How did you get into that, man?
Yeah, well, I mean, the look kind of comes from, you know, just I grew up in Gardnerville, small town, and anyone that's from a town like that understands it. You know, I'd say like most of my fans online are like the middle America types where, you know, they're like me. You know, you grow up in a small town, there's nothing to do, and you ride dirt bikes and you're into cars and shoot guns and stuff like that. So that's kind of where it comes from. But yeah, as far as like when I first started rapping, that was kind of a transitional period where I wouldn't say like I really wanted this look and I was scared to do it, but I was kind of scared to just do whatever the fuck I wanted.
Yeah.
And we can cuss on here, right?
Yeah, of course you could. Of course
and yeah, I mean, I was just scared and like trying to find.
Yeah, because you're still trying to find your way as an artist,
right.
And it's like you don't want people to be like, man, this guy, not listen to what you're saying just because of how you're living.
Exactly, and it's funny because it kind of that does happen still, but it works the opposite way as well. You know, you figure, especially back then, like I wasn't on iTunes or Spotify or nothing. It was just SoundCloud, and there's a million guys on SoundCloud that are trying to do exactly what you're trying to do, and 500,000 of them sound exactly like you sound like, you know?
Exactly.
And so the look and the branding and the image is one way to kind of differentiate yourself from the thousands of other guys that are doing exactly what you're doing.
And
that's exactly what happened when, true, and connect with the new fans, because then those people, they're not even hip hop people, which is good and bad as well, but you know, they're like, oh, this guy's sick, he looks like me, or like, he looks like my buddy, and then so it kind of just progressed. You know, I still, you know, I started wearing those wolf shirts in like 2012, but I still had like different hair and stuff back then. But that's kind of when I was like, oh, I like this shirt, like that's funny, but I don't want to wear it in a video. Or it's like, and then I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll just wear the funny shirt. Like, who cares? And then it was like, okay, well, you know, I grew up in the early 90s, or I was born in 91, and like all my friends had mullets when they were kids, and I was like, I never had a mullet. I was like, I want a fucking mullet. So then I just started growing it, and then that was at the same time that we started doing the live videos like in the car on the cell phone, and I realized then, I was like, oh, I can use the image to draw views. And it's not the same anymore. Like, it's way harder to get views on Facebook. Back then, it was easy.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, my first live video was, I put, like, white trash kid kills a 16 or something. And it got, like, 5,000 views, and that was way more than I'd ever gotten before on Facebook, especially. And I was like, oh, okay, that's when I figured it out. And then, so I kept doing that, and then my buddy at work, like, showed me these Pit Viper glasses. I was like, fuck, those are sick. And we used to wear, like, these are glorified safety glasses is what they are.
Oh,
but,
okay. They remind me of like the Bret Hart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same thing. And we used to wear safety glasses in high school that had like mirrored lenses and stuff, and they were just like that. And I was like, those are sick. So I bought some, and then I just kept tagging Pit Viper in everything. And they're a pretty small company, or at least they were back then. So they like gave me my own discount code, and then I became an affiliate, and now I sell them on my website, and I've met both the owners and stuff like that. Dope. So yeah, it's all from killing the 16 on Facebook Live. Yeah, that's exactly. Crazy. But like I said, you know, it's good and bad because it's hard. Some people are like, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot, and they don't listen to the music or what I have to say because of how I look. And then others, that's why they listen. Like, if I cut off my mullet, I bet, you know, not half, but a lot of people be like, what the fuck? Yeah. And it's like, well, maybe I just don't want a fucking mullet anymore. Exactly. It's hard to go out in public for 2 fucking years looking like an idiot everywhere you go. You know, it's fucking tough.
You're gonna have your ups and downs. It's like you can't please everybody, man. That's what I've noticed. Me being an artist myself, like I was really into rapidy rap stuff, and then like as I got older and like kind of found my sound, it was like I started, you know, I came up on R&B music, so I was kind of doing more R&B music style stuff, and people were just like, bro, we don't want that. Some people were like, I love that. So it's like, you know what, do whatever makes you happy, man, and the people that support you will support you no matter what.
That's another thing that we've kind of figured out in the last, I would say, 2 years or so, and that it's not really up to you. It's up to the market.
Exactly.
In anything business, but especially music, because back, you know, in the first few years that I was doing it, everything that I was making is like, oh, it's not good enough, which it probably wasn't back then, but I was like, nah, this sucks, scrap it halfway through the song. Nah, this sucks, scrap it. Now, I use everything. Like, even if I think it sucks, I'll put it out, because like JP's a great example. He likes the more chill, like boom bappy type stuff, and I don't. And but I'll make songs like that just to switch it up, and those are his favorite songs of mine. And other people, I'll get that too, like, oh, Focus is my favorite song of yours. Like, that's my least fucking favorite song I made in 2 years. But it's not up to me, it's up to the listener. So now, like, everything that we make, we're at a level where the beat's gonna be good, I'm decent, and it's gonna sound professional. Just fucking put it out and see what it does.
Heck
you know?
Man. Yeah, man. Hey, well, I feel like you found your style, you know, like you know what you like, and you're doing the right thing. You're on the right page, man. That's dope, dude. Let's talk about Viceland, man. I seen you on Viceland as well. How did that come about, dude? They just reached out, or what was that like?
Yeah, they just hit me up, and you know, they said, hey, we're filming this TV show. It's called Payday, and this is what it's about. It's about how millennials are either struggling or doing, you know, just how millennials make money in this different type of economy than we've had before. And I was like, okay, cool. And you know, if anything's gonna give me exposure, you know, I'll do it.
Heck yeah.
So that's how it came about. And I did, you know, probably 2 Skype interviews with those guys and the producers and all that. And I think they just found me off of like YouTube, or it was I think there was 8 episodes in the series. It was a good show too. I watched the rest of the episodes and stuff. And they did it for like B markets, so it was like Reno, one was Memphis, I remember, and Baltimore. It wasn't like LA, Miami, those type of cities. And I don't know exactly how they found me, but I thought that was funny, because I saw this long post on Facebook. I think people have kind of cooled it on the talking shit deal here, but back then I was just getting ripped all the time online by locals and non-locals alike. But there was this long fucking post about how, like, it was a joke that I got picked for the show and I'm not the dopest in the city and all this bullshit. But it's funny because that's not what this show was about. It wasn't who's the best rapper in Reno. It was, like I said, it was just about millennials making money. And it like goes back to, you know, kind of setting everything up for yourself, like a business. That's how I run everything. And it's like, maybe they would have picked one of you guys, but when you type in Reno hip hop on Google, none of you motherfuckers come up.
Exactly.
That's how I got picked, is because they could find me.
And I bet you they were thinking that, oh, it's about the best rapper because you were the only rapper on that episode.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, when I first moved out here, I typed in Reno rappers because I wanted to link up with people. You were one of the first people to pop up. So that's probably it. That's probably is how they found you. So all you haters out there hating, keep hating. He gonna keep on working. That's all you can do, man. Straight up. That's dope. And then after Viceland, do you feel like it helped propel your career a little more, or?
You know, it's one of those things that it's. I'm pretty convinced that there's nothing that does that anymore.
Okay.
And you think that it's your big break, or, you know, not even that, but like being on World Star for the first time, like someone texted me or commented on something like, dude, you're on World Star. I was like, holy shit. And I went on there, and you get a lot of views and stuff, but like nothing really came from it. And then it's like, I had my Eminem remix video go viral on Facebook, and that got like 7 million views, like crushed anything I've ever done.
Yeah, that's the one I seen.
Still,
Is that the you were freestyling in the back of the van?
Yeah,
that one's dope.
And thanks. And it's like, all right, this is it. Like, what's next? And then it's like, I got a bunch of fans on Facebook from it, but that was kind of it. And then the Viceland thing, it's like, oh shit, I'm gonna be on fucking national TV, but it was a new channel. It was the first show that they ever launched. And yeah, I've got some eyes on it. You go on my YouTube and see like, oh, I'm here from Viceland. Still, to this day, even like 2 weeks ago, I got like 30 new followers at once on Instagram. And I was like, oh, I must have got posted somewhere. And then I got a comment like, oh, just saw you on Vice. I was like, oh, they must have just re-aired it or whatever. But it wasn't like career changing. But it, you know, it's eyes, and it's some people found me from that, and it's just a good look that, you know, like I do stuff like this, like, oh, you were on Viceland.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, that's dope, man. Yeah, that's what I felt. I felt like I seen it a lot on your YouTube channel, all the comments, man. I seen you from Vice, and then you check out some of your newer videos. It's kind of dying down on that, you know. But however they find you, man, they find you. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. A fan is a fan. Let's talk about hip hop, man. The state of hip hop right now. You know, we got the Lil Yachty's, we got the Tekashis, we got all these guys that they're calling mumble rappers, man. And obviously the people that are gonna watch this, maybe some new people, maybe a lot of your fans, they can tell that, you know, you don't rap like these guys. You got bars, for real bars. So are you into that type of music, and do you know, can you relate to any of it, or it's just not really in your field? I know you said earlier you don't listen to too much music, but
I mean, I really don't. Honestly, I don't listen to all that much music. Sometimes, you know, if there's a song that I see that's crazy, like whenever Drake drops stuff, everyone's posting about, so I'll check it out. But I don't really listen to that much music. Like the only time I listen to stuff is when I'm driving or when I'm at the gym, and I'm always listening to podcasts or books, and that's it. And then Garrett and Allen listen to the new stuff and the pop stuff and stuff that's on the radio, so they can kind of fill me in on what's going on. They'll send me songs. JP will send me songs and stuff like that. But no, I don't mind it. I get it. Yeah. It's, you know, I do it for a living, so I understand what goes into it, no matter, you know, you see these guys like Future and whoever, like Zaytoven, or, you know, one of the super producers. I was watching an interview and it was like, yeah, well, I'll get into the studio with Future and we'll do 18 songs in one night. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, obviously, at that rate, they're not really trying that hard, exactly. But that music's not really about trying hard. It's just about the vibe. And once you can swallow that, it's like, okay. Like, I really like Lil Uzi Vert. I think he's the best mumble rapper. But he can also rap too. I mean, I'm sure you've seen those the old videos from like 2014 where he's actually like spitting. And then, you know, he got signed or however he got discovered, and they probably told him like, hey, this is the new sound. Do this, and he's really good at it. Or
maybe even he was just finding himself still, like you were saying earlier. You know, you said you were doing a certain type, maybe the boom bap, and then you kind of got into more of the melodic stuff. You know, so you never know what's going on with that stuff. But that's dope that you still have your ear to that, at least with Lil Uzi Vert, because I think he's one of the best ones out of them.
And you know, I keep up on it. I watch like DJ Academics all the time and stuff, so I'm up with all the fuckery that goes on, which I'm not really a fan of. Like, it's like the clout culture that I don't. I'm not really into it, but again, I get it, you know. And there's a reason why Atlantic is signing like Bad Baby and whoever else, like Maddox, that little kid. It's like, it's because it's a business decision, you know. It's like these kids have millions of followers. That's where the eyes are. That's where the streams are gonna come from. Yeah, fucking sign him. If I was in charge of that decision, I'd do the same thing.
Exactly. That's when the money's gonna come. And it's not about the music anymore, man. It's about how many people can they get to come watch their music video. You know, whether it's a dope song or not. You know.
And at the same time, you know, it's tough for me because it's like I'm still trying to make good music, and it's discouraging because it's like, fuck, you don't have to make good music. You just have to like act stupid online, like Lil Tay or something. You know, it's like you can bet that she's gonna drop a song at some point.
Definitely.
But it's like, I don't know. It's, to me, it's not really respectable. Like, which, who cares? But it's you know, I follow guys that are like business guys and stuff like that, real estate guys, and like, to me, they've built real shit. And they, you know, they run 150 million a year companies in sales, or they hold 500 million in real estate. It's like, that's what I want to do. That's why I follow those guys. And then, but you know, I'm older now. I'm fucking 26 years old, and you know, all the vlog culture, like the Pauls and Bad Baby, like all their fans are 15 years old, 12 years old. Exactly. So like, they don't give a fuck about real estate or business. Like they're like, oh, look at this guy doing some stupid shit inside of a KFC. That's funny. Like, so I get it. It's just like, you know, I'm just not that into it.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Well, you know, like I said, you got your own style. Stick with it, man, and keep doing what you're doing. And people are watching. I know I'm watching, and we're hoping for you to keep on growing and elevating on it, man.
Thank you.
Let's talk more about rap, man. Who are some of your top artists that you do like? I mean, even, you know, from the past or present. Maybe you don't even have to do top 5. Maybe even top 3, dude.
Yeah, it's hard to say because there's so many different categories. You know, like I said, if we're just talking about mumble rappers, I think Lil Uzi Vert is the best one that I've heard. And then, you know, I think Eminem is the greatest lyricist of all time, and I know there's But there's also debate about that where people say no, Kendrick's better because he's influenced culture more than that, and I understand that aspect of it too. Yeah. But like I said earlier, J. Cole and Kendrick are the greatest right now. I think Eminem, like his wordplay and his rhyme patterns are insane, like stuff that I can never think of, and how he goes full circle on the rhymes within the verse is crazy. And then there's guys like Logic where you feel a connection to them because I wasn't like a part of his come up, but I saw it firsthand. Whereas Eminem was already a mega pop superstar when I found out about it.
Yeah, you said you were born 91, and that's around when Eminem maybe started to not crack off, but get his foot into the door.
Yeah. And I was already in like middle school, and people are listening to Eminem, and I wasn't into music, so obviously he was huge back then. Yeah. But like in Logic's case or Mac Miller, I wasn't like a first level supporter or anything, but I'm finding out about these guys when they only have a couple million views on YouTube. They've only been doing it for a couple of years. I remember I drove on Logic's first U.S. tour. I drove from Reno to San Fran to see him. Oh, wow. And he played at this venue, and it was like a small venue, 200, 300 cap, sold out. And that was like one of the only shows that I've seen where you couldn't really hear him because every single person in the crowd knew every word to the song because they're such hardcore fans. Yeah. So that was really cool. And then, I went back a couple years later when he played in SAC at Ace of Spades, sold out. And it was cool to see. I was like, fuck, I saw this guy when there was 200 people in the room, and now, there's 2,000 people or however many that holds, and now he's doing amphitheaters by himself.
So you've personally seen that growth. That's dope.
So that's cool. That's like what makes him one of my favorites. And I think it's cool that he kind of deals with the same stuff. Like, he's obviously a great rapper, but there's mixtape Logic and there's album Logic. And I like mixtape Logic better. And that's more of his turn-up stuff now. And then there's the album stuff too, that's more like his old stuff, that's like lyrical and all that. But it's cool that he can do both, and it's like he kind of makes fun of himself, like, oh, who's better, mixtape Logic or album Logic and stuff like that. But he just doesn't give a fuck, and he can do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, I love his interviews too with Hard Knock TV or Hard Knock. Is it Hard Knock TV? Yeah, he does great interviews. He's very in depth, and he talks about that. Bobby Tarantino or whatever, and he's like, is it Logic? Is it Bobby? Like, he definitely is able to play in both worlds of hip hop. I feel like he's very good at that.
I think I actually watch interviews more than I listen to music on guys because I'm always a student and trying to figure out how people are doing it, and it's tough because it's always evolving. You try to copy someone's path, you can make all the same moves, and like it won't work for you, but. I always watch interviews and try to figure out how people did it, or if they had connections, or which connection got them this or whatever. So like, I've watched Logic interviews forever. I watch Russ interviews all the time because he's like the do-it-yourself king now, and all that stuff. So
that's dope, man. Let's talk about Reno hip hop, man. Are you tapped in with a lot of the artists out here? Are you working with any other guys out here? Or, have you worked with any other guys? I've seen something you did with Casey Reynolds. Is he the only artist from Reno that you've worked with so far?
I did a song, we just put it out a few weeks ago with Eli McCoy. Okay. So yeah, he's really talented, and in his crew, that whole Way Up crew, I'm a fan of all those guys.
Oh yeah, Way Up Music?
Yeah, Ryan and Savvy and all those guys. I think they all kill it. Yeah, and then Casey lives in LA now, but
I'm doing an interview with Casey as well.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, and him and AJ are killing it with the videos too. They're looking awesome. And but yeah, other than that, like I don't really know all that many guys, and Reno's a weird deal. I talked to Dan, the dude who throws most of the shows here, to kind of pick his brain on why it is the way it is, because he's been around it for so long and more involved than your average like rapper. Yeah. And he said how he explained it, at least for shows, Reno is a B market already, and then it's not a hip hop market at that. So he said the example he used is you could interview all the people that live here for what's your favorite music, and it would be like country, pop, hip hop. Whereas if you go to LA, you have millions of people to draw from, and it's hip hop, other stuff.
Exactly.
So he's like, that's why the shows are the way they are. That's why we usually can't draw big artists. And he's like, and when they do come through here, it's a date in between Sacramento and Seattle or something. And he's like, and I can pay them 1/3 to 1/2 of what they're worth in an A market, and that's how I get them to come here. They're doing it for gas money on the way. So I think that kind of hurts the scene, that's the way it is, but that's no one's fault. That's just the market in general. And then I love, I always keep an eye on stuff online because I love reading comments. I just think it's hilarious. My favorite pastime. And like I'm a member of the Reno hip hop group, and so I'll always check out people's stuff that they're posting in there. And there's a lot of great rappers here and stuff, but there's a lot of them are just missing that kind of extra step, I guess, of handling it like a business instead of just a SoundCloud rapper. And but that's one of those things, if you're into it enough and for long enough, you'll figure it out. But yeah, other than that, there's a lot of fighting that goes on, and people trying to be the king of Reno, where you should never give a fuck about that because of what Reno is. It's your hometown, I get it, but it's a B market. It's very small. You shouldn't want to be the king of something small. You should, from the moment you start, you should have national or global intentions. And I think that's where people kind of fuck up, is just I want to be the first one out of here, or I want to be the best in Reno. It's like, dude, no one fucking cares. Even if you were, no one cares.
Yeah, because then you're like, dude, I'm the best artist out of Reno, and then you're going to tell somebody from freaking Atlanta, Reno, and they're gonna be like, where the fuck is Reno, dude?
Yeah, they probably never even heard of it. Exactly. Even if they have, they're like, cool, well, look at all these guys that come out of Atlanta. So, yeah, I mean, it's funny. There's this dude, Rob, and he hosts this show called Beers, Beards, and Barbecue. And
I seen his show, bro. Were you on there?
I was on there,
I think I seen your episode and Easy Baby's episode.
Yep. And and it was funny because Rob is the coolest fucking nicest guy ever, and he's doing this show for free. He cooks for everyone, and then he's like, you know what, we need to bring everyone together. So he made this Reno hip hop episode where 12 guys showed up, and we kind of went around and had this discussion in this setting, and people said what's your or what's the problems, what can we do better, this and that. And I was thinking afterwards, I'm like, dude, that's so funny that Rob from Bright Glass had to hold this meeting for us to figure this out. And has anything changed since then? No. But
it's somebody that's probably not even into hip hop like
he's
that,
not.
No.
See?
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, he's a middle-aged guy, and he works at fucking Bright Glass. And just random dude. He's like, you know what? You guys are all so good. You just need to get along, or do whatever.
Yeah, come together more.
To hype each other up and shit like that. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm working on my own stuff and focusing on me, but at the same time, I have no problem with, getting Eli on a song, or I want more local features and stuff, or I love coming to do stuff like this. Definitely. But no one really approaches me for that stuff too. Yeah. And then it's
an ego thing, man.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an ego thing. Well, let me tell you, coming from a big city, bro, it's the same exact thing where I'm from, bro. Yeah. I'm from San Jose, California, man. It's we don't have that. We're 20 minutes from, or 30 minutes from San Francisco, 35, 40 minutes from Oakland. San Francisco, Oakland has a bunch of artists that have blown up nationally, maybe not like a Drake or something, but still very national, recognized. And San Jose just doesn't have that. So I feel like the scene out there is everybody's trying to chase to be that first artist to blow up from out there, when if we just come along, and whether it's me that blows up or somebody else, and we all push them, it's going to bring a light onto the city to where, just like when Chicago, when Chief Keef blew up, boom, all of a sudden 10 other artists from there blew up, so it's just all about putting your egos to the side. And that's another reason why I want to do this podcast, man. I feel like, it's not just a podcast for Reno. It's a podcast for everyone, man. I see how No Jumper's doing it, Adam. I know his girlfriend, Lena, and I just seen his steps doing it. And it's I could do that too, and just try to bring, maybe a Feeki can't get onto No Jumper, but he can get onto the, my podcast, So that's what I'm trying to do, man. Bring everybody together, and hopefully it makes something out of it, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of your albums. Do you have what's your newest album, and what do you want people to listen to right now, man?
Well, I haven't put out an album for a while.
Oh, okay.
My last one was an EP in 2016 called Unbound, and ever since then we've just been putting out singles. Oh no, actually I did put out an EP since then, but it was it was a stripped version of 5 songs that we already had out, more acoustic style, just to switch it up and for more content type of deal. But So we've just been doing singles because trying to stay with the times, like no one really gives a fuck about albums anymore unless you're J. Cole, Kendrick, Drake. But, you know, it's like people's attention spans are so short, and the streaming culture and everything, it's like you can put 6 months into making an album or longer, and then 1 week after it drops, people are commenting, hey, when's your new stuff gonna come out? And or like, album was sick, when's the next one? It's like, dude, that took me fucking 6 months to make. So, and then Russ was kind of the originator, as far as I know, of the dropping a song a week deal, and that's how he blew up, so he says. But so that's kind of what we've been doing, and it definitely helps as far as Spotify numbers go. And I know Alan just met with some dude that was like head of Warner or something like that when he was in LA working on some stuff, and that guy told him, he's like, all I look at is Spotify. I don't care about YouTube, I don't care about anything else, only your Spotify numbers. And when you drop consistently, you can get put into these the Spotify playlists, just the algorithmic ones, not like Rap Radar or anything like that, but Discover Weekly, Release Radar, and the radio feature. And when you drop every week, the playlists get updated every Friday. So you get an extra push for free, organically off of that. So that's why we've been doing that, and it seemed to help. You know, we've had some growth in the streaming and consistently staying there too, not big ups and downs. It's kind of, it'll go up, come down, go back up, come back down, stuff like that.
Always growing then.
It seems to be always growing, and that's why we've been doing singles. But that being said, you know, it's kind of boring, where I'm just bored of doing that all the time and putting out a song a week and stuff. So I talked with the guys a couple weeks ago, and I was like, you know what, I think I want to do another EP, and we're going to kind of change up the style too and do more of like, I guess, pop sound, not like Justin Bieber, but like modernized hip hop, I guess, like a Post Malone, Young Pinch, not mumble rap either, but more. I was like, you know what, because we put out a song called Energy, where it was like similar to a mumble rap beat, and then it was like all singing. It was really easy, and that was like one of my favorite songs of this whole year. We've dropped like 18 songs already, and that was like my favorite one. So I was like, dude, we should put out a whole EP like that. Fuck it, why not? And you know, at my level, it's all about experimenting and seeing what works and what doesn't. You're always just throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks.
That's so true, man.
It's like, all right, you know, we've been doing this. It didn't like propel me like I wanted it to. I was like, let's switch up the sound, and no one really complained. You know, I always have that fear, you know, but we were talking about it, it's like, it's not up to me, and some people hate it and some people don't. But you know, when I put that out, or this song called Bench, where it's like all auto-tune, I was like, fuck, the people are gonna hate this, but they don't. And then no one ever said like, this is fucking gay, go back to your old shit, like you expect. So it's like, well, I'll drop a whole EP like that. Some people will like it, some people won't, but you know, we'll see how it does and go from there.
Yeah, and that's what I noticed too. You're not really a auto-tune user, you know?
We use auto-tune on everything, but not in the sense that like the mainstream sounding auto-tune. I mean, you're an engineer, you know how it works, but most people don't. But I mean, essentially everything that you hear on the radio is auto-tune.
Yeah, it's kind of like people's ears have got so used to auto-tune.
Right.
I feel like that's why they don't bash it as much anymore, because they're so used to it now. It's like, if you hear a song without auto-tune, they may even not like it more than they do like it, you know?
And like, my stuff is auto-tuned, like all my singing hooks pretty heavily. Like, I can't sing worth a shit. Gary is an awesome singer, and like, he'll record a hook and first try, and it sounds awesome, and he still auto-tunes it, you know. So, but he's good at going in and comping the vocals and using auto-tune correctly, and then also adjusting, like if one syllable is flat, he'll go in and adjust the elastic properties or whatever and bring it up to the right, so it doesn't sound terrible. You know, it's like a good mixture of, it doesn't really sound like it's heavily auto-tuned to your average listener. To someone who does music, you can tell it's tuned, but it doesn't have the auto-tuned sound, but at the same time, it's not, it doesn't sound bad.
It's not so pitchy, up and down pitch, up and down pitch. That's dope, man. And then Garrett, is he your engineer?
Okay, so Garrett's an engineer, and then he does his own stuff too as a songwriter. And then a little bit of his own artist stuff too as a pop guy. But yeah, he's been, he's one of the only people I know in Reno that is an actual like songwriter, where he has cuts on, I think he has like a top 10 song in Canada right now that was distributed through Sony and stuff. So he works with other producers all over, and he has his own management, and he's constantly getting beats from these guys, pop beats, and he'll write the hook and the melody and lyrics and stuff, and then he records it, and then they pitch it to, this is like major label shit, but they pitch it to different labels for different artists, and then in hopes that Atlantic will want this record for Bad Baby or something, and then they take it, and then they're credited on it, and they get the publishing and the royalties and all that stuff.
Yeah, hell yeah, man, that's dope, dude. Seems like he's got his foot in the door, and he's doing his own thing, making his own path.
Yeah, I mean that most people don't realize that's how music works.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're, it's, with that whole controversy with Meek Mill and Drake, as Drake being not writing all his own lyrics and stuff. Anyone that was like into music was like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the dude's on doing world tours 80% of the year, and he's doing crazy big interviews and all these huge looks. Like that dude doesn't have time to make an album a year. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Of course he has a team of writers, and like all of them are pop songs anyway. It's like none of those guys write their own stuff, but it's frowned upon in hip hop because that's the whole point of it, is like, how good can you rap and come up with your own lyrics and stuff. But then in any other type of music, country, pop, anything, it's like there are teams of songwriters like Garrett. That's all they do is write songs, and then the artists, these worldwide artists are so busy, they come into the studio and it's almost like, here's the song, sing it like this, what do you think? And it's like, yeah, okay.
And then they just add their own little touch on it to make it, not theirs, but kind of theirs.
Yeah, like their style, and that's it. That's a wrap, and on to the next one.
So would you be one of those artists that maybe, hey, I'm so busy, like, I can take this hook from this guy. Do you feel like you would want to do something like that maybe? Because it seems like from your lyrics, you're very into writing your own bars, so.
Yeah, and I think it's a fine line. It depends on, I think hooks are one thing, where like Garrett could crush me in hooks if he wanted to, easy. And I think that, that would probably be okay. But as far as, it depends on the song too. If it's like pop songs and country songs, they're all bullshit, right? But they're relatable, and they write them like that on purpose.
Exactly.
But as far as, rapping about the come up and the struggle and this and that, it's like, then it kind of becomes not authentic if I'm not writing.
That's true. That's true, man. Man, it's Feeki, man. I appreciate you coming by, dude. I just want to say thank you, first of all, for doing the interview. And I want to tell you to keep on doing your thing, man. I'm just starting this podcast out, and I wanted to give people like you. That's why I named it the No Longer Slept On podcast, because, like my last guest, my first guest, Ziggy, he's a close friend of mine, he has like 1 foot, he's like almost there. He's got the 2 million views, he's got the hit single, but he's still being slept on. When he's dropping his own music, it's like not doing exactly what he wants to do. But I just feel like with his work ethic, and just like you with your work ethic, you guys are gonna get there, and just keep on going and keep on grinding, man, straight up.
Yeah, that's all you can do sometimes. I mean, that's what honestly kind of sucks about music, is that compared to other business, there's so much that's not completely up to you. Like all you can do is work hard, keep putting out music. But even like my next step is, trying to get a direct support slot on someone else's tour, because I'm not really big enough to tour on my own. I don't want to tour and do these shitty shows where 30 people show up. Like, it's not worth it to me. I want to play in front of 500 or 1,000 kids, so I need to get onto someone else's tour. But then that decision is up to them, or their management or whoever. Like, my manager can pitch that all day long, which she does, but it's not up to me. So that sucks, like controlling your own success like that. And I'm sure he's dealing with similar stuff.
Let's talk about the tour situation a little bit. I seen one of your music videos. It looked like it was a pretty big show that you were performing at. Was that a tour that you were on?
We've done some big stuff. We did Vans Warped Tour last summer. We were on the whole tour. And that was, we were on the small stage, and so the shows were hit and miss. Some days there's 10 people there in one row, and it was like pulling teeth for 25 minutes up there. And then other days, it's good. There's 100, 200 kids there, and we had good shows. But yeah, that was fun, and it was a good learning experience, and we got a crash course on touring nationally, and that everyone says like that's the hardest tour to do, because it's day in and day out, and it's during the day and it's hot as fuck and it's humid, and we had nowhere to go. You know, we were just in my van and trailer, and so we didn't have a bus to retreat out of the heat all day. We were just under the merch tent all day, like just sweating, and then you play 25 minutes, and yeah, it's tough to do, but so yeah, we have some good tour history with that, and then I've done a smaller like West Coast run, headlined it on my own before that. But like I said, you know, those shows are, some of them are good and some of them are absolutely terrible. So it's almost at the point where it's like, fuck, it's not really worth it for me just to tour for the sake of touring. Yeah. And that's where a lot of rock bands do. Like
how many cities?
Alan's friends.
How many cities did you do on the Warped Tour? Sorry, I didn't
Oh yeah, no problem. Warped Tour, I think it was 41.
Oh wow.
41 shows in 55 days.
That's big.
Like that. Yeah,
that's big, dude. That's big. I know these guys are saying, oh, I'm on tour. They do like 5 cities. I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
Relax. Was there any cities or any markets that you went to that kind of knew you or knew your sound? Or
I would say there was people in every single one that knew me, but I wouldn't say there was one that was like awesome. And it's hard to tell because it's, you know, it's a festival setting.
Yeah.
So I remember we had a really good show in Detroit. But I have no idea if that was because a lot of those guys came to see me, or if they just happened to be walking by and was like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, because, you know, our show's pretty cool. I think, you know, my DJ, the Trash Wizard, he's got his fucking jazzercise microphone because he couldn't figure out, like when he's trying to do ad-libs for me, he couldn't figure out that he needs to be this far away from the mic every time. So sometimes he's like this, and then sometimes he's way up like that. He couldn't figure out how to like sound check and shit. I was like, dude, this would be funny, and just like, you know, it goes with your look. So he'll go out with no shirt on and like jazzercise while he's like warming up the crowd like a normal DJ does. And then I come out and I play the national anthem at every stop on the guitar to like open it up. So people walking by are like, what the fuck's going on here? This is so weird. And then, you know, we start with Way Up and the drums come in and it's like, all right, I get it now. And then some people, you'd see them leave like right after, like, fuck this. And then some people stay the whole show. They're like, dude, that was awesome. I never heard of you before. So, but yeah, like I was saying, it's hard to tell how many people were there for me unless they came up before. Like, what time do you go on? Like, I only came for you. And I was like, all right, cool. But yeah, so some of the markets were really good like that, and then others were terrible.
That's dope, man. That's dope. And then was it a paid thing or just more of a view, like, you know, you're getting views from the other eyes or whatever?
No, it was paid.
Oh, that's cool.
We got $600 a day, and
that's dope.
And then plus merch and stuff. But you know, that $600 goes away really quick when you know, we had. It's hard because you pretty much have to have a driver because it's an all-day event. And you have to be there from the time it starts to the time it ends, and then you drive overnight. So
you're tired. There's no way you're
we're
driving.
Sleeping in the van every single night while Jason was driving. So I had a driver. I had JP with me to do videos and stuff. I had Neil with me, the Trash Wizard, to do the DJing duties. And then we also had Ryan, my merch guy, for like half of it, and then he ended up going home because he wasn't making enough money, which I don't blame him, because I told him, I was like, dude, like, I can't really pay you. I'll pay you commission, like it was like 10 or 15%, but some of the guys absolutely crushed it on merch, like the big pop punk bands. Like I heard Neck Deep was doing like $15,000 a day in merch, and I think we only did like 7,000 for the whole tour. But then, you know, Ryan left and JP kind of stepped up and did merch for me for no extra money. And he is just like a natural salesman. It was fucking hilarious. I have so many good stories of him selling people, and he's blinding people with a mirror, and they're like, oh, what the fuck? And he's like, come here. And they would buy a shirt and they have no idea who I was. So he'd be like, oh, I haven't sold shit in 3 days. Like, pick your favorite shirt, I'll hook you up. And then they would buy. So there was a lot of cool stories like that. But yeah, I probably made the least out of everyone because it's so expensive. Luckily, it was catered, or I would have been crushed. But yeah, it was catered 3 times a day with really great food. And I mean, I spent $8,000 before I even left the house.
Oh wow!
I spent $5,000 just making new merch. I had to buy like the custom pop-up and stage stuff and other supplies and all this shit.
See, this is the things that people don't know that go into a big tour. You know, they think you go on tour, you press up 20 shirts. You know, you're doing like, nah, man, you gotta really, you gotta bring people to. First of all, if you're not a big artist, you gotta bring people to your stage.
Right.
And what's gonna bring them to your stage? A big banner, you know, a bunch of shirts. You know, you go to somebody's table. Say if you're on a big tour, you go to somebody's table and they have 20 shirts, and then there's a band right next to them that has 150 shirts. It's like, why the hell am I gonna mess with this guy? You know.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's dope that you're really investing in yourself. You know?
Yeah, when you're not known, it's tough. Like, you know, I had 5,000 flyers made up that had, you know, like the cartoon of me on it and, you know, whatever else. And then every day we would write, like our set time, because your set time changes every day.
Yeah.
So that's another hard thing about the tour, because like when you're on a standard tour, it's like, all right, if I was on tour with like Lil Dicky, all right, Lil Dicky goes on from 11 to 12 every single night. I go on from 10:20 to 10:40 every single night, and sound checks at 5 every single night. This one, it's like sometimes you're playing right when the doors open at 11:30 when there's literally no one has even made it over to your stage yet. And then sometimes you're playing in the middle of the day when there's a lot of people walking around. Sometimes you're playing last when like most people have already gone home, or they're watching Gore, because Gore was always last.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we would write the set time on these flyers, and then JP, again, great salesman, great street teamer, and he's just coming up with the dumbest shit. Like, he would see people like smoking cigs, he'd be like, hey, do you smoke? Like, obviously knowing they do, they'd be like, yeah. And oh, perfect, we're giving out free cigs at 4:30 right here. And they're like, really? He's like, yeah, come back. Or he just ask like stupid questions like, hey, have you ever worn jean shorts? And you're like, no. It's like, perfect, you'll love this. Or they'd be like, yeah, perfect, you'll love this.
Either, yes or no, you're gonna love it. Come
So,
and meet
like,
me at the stage.
Yeah, he really saved me, because I'm terrible at like promoting myself and going up to people and like that. And he was like, really, honestly, like, especially on those very slow days, he was responsible for 50% of the people showing up to watch me.
That's dope, man. Shout out JP again, man. That seems like a great friend, dude. That's dope,
he is.
man.
Yeah.
So let's, before we close it out, man, you want to tell the people what you got coming up next? You got any new videos about to drop? Any new music? Any new merch coming out?
Yeah, I mean, we're still working on singles at this point. I think we have 2 left that are ready to go. And then as far as that, after those, then we're going to drop that EP. So that'll be probably another month out for that EP, or maybe longer, depending on, you know, how things go. We'll see. But yeah, so a couple more new singles, then an EP, and then but we're just trying to get on a tour. Really, like, we did submit for the Lil Dicky tour. He's going out in the fall. That would be like my dream tour.
Yeah, I hope you get it, bro.
It would be, thanks. Yeah, it's just the right demographic, and he's funny, and you know, that's his whole deal. And but you know, it sucks because it's not up to me. Like, in my head, it's like, dude, that's a perfect fit. Like, I told him, my manager told me, she's like, look, you know, she sent me the email, and there was like seeking fall support, budget flexible. I was like, tell him I will do it for half of whatever anyone else will do it. And then I told her, I was like, I will do it for free. Like, let's just do it. But it's not up to me. So I'm hoping that will line up, or something similar. Like,
well, all the fans out there, tag Lil Dicky, man. Let them know that, you know, Feeky's ready to go. And, you know, it's the same, it's not the same type of music, but it's the same demographic, man. And he's got talent, man, straight up, dude. Give the people your handles, man, your YouTube, your IG, your Facebook, all that stuff, so they can, you know, find you.
Yeah, I think I'm at It's Feeki on everything, Feeki. But if you just type in Feeki, I'll come up on everything. So
dope,
easy to find.
Dope, man. Well, this is the No Longer Slept On podcast, and like I said, I'm your host, Julius Tanks, and I just want to say thank you to my boy Feeki, man. It's my first time meeting him, but from meeting him, I can tell we're gonna build a bond, man, and keep on working together, straight up, man. Everybody, and go support him, man. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel, man. He's got lots of content on there for you guys to watch. I was doing my homework on him. I literally started watching videos from this morning and barely got done now. So go check him out, man, straight up. No Longer Slept On podcast, episode 2, featuring my dog Feeki, man. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you so much, man.
Thank you.
For sure.
Appreciate it.